Very excited to be welcoming one of the wonderful candidates running for the Assembly, in particular, Assembly District 53 up there, the beautiful Fox Valley. Democrat Duane Shukoski joining us live via StreamYard from the district. Duane, thanks for taking time for us. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you doing, birthday boy?
Well, better. I'm here, so I can't complain about that, right? It's a
Yeah.
beautiful day. I get to do a job I love. I have most of my health, part of my mental faculties, so I can't complain.
Well, happy birthday, Todd. Good
Well,
for
you're
you.
too kind. Thank you so very much. Tell us a little bit about yourself. For those that might not be familiar with the Fox Valley and your campaign directly, I know, just reading your bio and stuff, it sounds like you're kind of coming out of retirement. Yeah, why would a person give up retirement for this? But first of all, let's start with your story. Where did you grow up and what did you do before retirement?
Well, sure. Well, thanks for giving me the opportunity, Todd. I really appreciate that. Yeah, my name's Duane Shukoski, and I'm proud to be running for the 53rd Assembly District here in Neenah, Menasha. We've got a slice of southern Appleton and Fox Crossing East. So once again, we're back together again. We're no longer gerrymandered, so
Hmm.
that's really a good thing. I hope we get to talk about that a little bit more.
Sure.
So, yeah, I'm born and raised here in Neenah. I grew up in foster care, so at the age of three, from the age of three on, uh, I've been supported by my community, and I really appreciate that. And this is one of the ways I can give back. Married my high school sweetheart. I saw Wendy at her locker in ninth grade, and then that was it. It was over. So we've been married. We've been married 44 years. I've got three sons and two beautiful little granddaughters that I just adore. Uh, worked for
Congratulations on that, by the way.
well, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked for Kimberly-Clark for 37 years. I don't know if you Kimberly-Clark is
Hmm.
maker of Huggies and
Yep.
a lot of other essentials. So I started out as a union member, a very proud union member. I did that for 15 years. When Wendy and I first were married, we had bought a two year old house on my union wages. We had a couple of cars. We took the boys to Disney. I mean, we were living the American dream,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
that felt really good. And it's unfortunate that those times have kind of slipped away from us. So another reason for me to step forward. So, but basically, what I tell people is, if you paid your taxes in the '60s and '70s, or your parents did, you helped support me. You helped raise this guy from a little guy on, and I really appreciate that. I'm fully indebted, and this is my way of giving back to the community that helped raise me.
Well, you have a very interesting story, and interesting that you ended up marrying your high school sweetheart. You have that in common with our second guest here coming up in hour two. It turns out that Mike Leckrone also married his high school sweetheart, and we're together, well over 50 years. So
Awesome.
I just love those stories. It's fantastic. I know the district fairly well. My dad and stepmom have lived in Shawano for several years. For one brief summer, our family lived in Appleton. So back in the days of the Appleton Foxes,
There you go.
long ago. And I was a Republican for several years until I left the party in 2011. And the iconic Mike Ellis was from that part of the state as well. And one of the things that interests me about your candidacy, Dwayne, for the 53rd, certainly you're the Democratic Party, and former the late great Senator Ellis was Republican, but he started as a teacher. I mean, he was a teacher, and somebody who came up working class as well. And I think there's just something about that part of the state in the Fox Valley where the paper industry for so very many years, that was the lifeblood of that part of Wisconsin. And to your point, good union jobs, just like we've seen in Eau Claire with Uniroyal, put a lot of families through school and through college.
That is so true. Mike Ellis, you mentioned that name. We've named a bridge after him here, or an overpass. So,
Hmm.
yeah, he's always been adored by both sides here. I mean, he was in partisan and nonpartisan roles. So, a lot of people know Mike. A lot of references to what he's done as well throughout the valley here. So, yeah, I agree with that. That's so true.
So talk to us a little bit about the union jobs, the importance of this and this background, because we've had Rick Smith on the Rick Smith Show, great union guy. Um, and I think this is my whole family are educators. We're and are educators. And it had not been for the teachers union and the great work of people like the late great Morris Andrews, a longtime head of WEAC, and going through places like Fenimore and other strikes and this sort of thing, we wouldn't have the rights that educators have today. Talk to us a little bit about your experience in the union and what good union jobs provide and the impact on communities throughout Wisconsin.
Well, that's a great question. So, when I went into Kimberly-Clark in 81, I was working just down the street, down on Lake Street. I had a smaller business that was also unionized, but it was very small. When I went to Kimberly-Clark, that union was huge. Actually, the union really ran the Lakeview Mill.
Mm,
Um, my wages, I doubled my wages going there, but the benefits that came along with it. I remember having network health plan where I never saw a bill. I never
wow.
prescription. I never
Yeah.
paid for my prescriptions. I mean, that's the way it used to be. So families could get ahead, and make ends meet and beyond. And start a little
Mm,
savings, things like that. Like I said, those times we need to get back to that. So I don't want to just tout unions. I mean, I've
mm,
worked in non-union shops as well, and those workers are
sure.
just as important. They deserve our respect and help as well. So, but the thing with unions is they raise the wages, they raise the benefits for everybody. Because if unions are paying this much at this factory and you're working at a factory that's paying half as much, just like I was,
Mm.
you're gonna tend to want to go and work for more money, make more money. So that does it. It actually lifts up everybody in the community, in
Yeah.
my
I mean,
opinion.
and I think, you go on and on, I won't, but I mean, to my former party who likes to attack unions, what you just said, I think is so important that good paying union jobs, no matter what vocation, those are the same people buying bread at the local bakery,
Yep.
buying gas at the local filling station. I mean, they're putting that money back into the local economy. So it really does lift all boats, in my opinion.
I totally agree with that, and you know, I that's why we always have to mention union and non-union workers because
Mm,
we're working class folks, we're working families, and whether you're in a union or not, you do rely on a decent wage, a living wage, and decent benefits so that you don't go broke having to
right.
pay
Right.
for your prescriptions, right?
Another issue up there in the Fox Valley that I think a lot of people don't recognize anymore, don't talk a lot about, and that's one of our retiring state senators, again from my former party, Rob Coles, state senator from Green Bay. A lot of people don't like to talk about the fact that Rob started as a Democrat and was a big conservation guy, and it was known even after he changed to be a Republican to be a steward of the land. And this is something in the Fox Valley. It should be for all the Wisconsin, in my opinion. But there's a history of conservation, good environmental care being it should be a nonpartisan issue.
That is so true. At the end of my career with Kimberly-Clark, I was in environmental roles. And to me, that was more spiritual than anything. I mean, I'm
Mm,
protecting this land that God gave us, right? So I ended up in Marinette area, right on top of the Menominee River. Kimberly-Clark has a facility up there. So I was protecting the Menominee River from pollution. So you're right. It is a big deal. PFAS is a big issue. You hear a lot of talk about that. We do have PFAS all throughout the state that we need to manage. I know it's really difficult for businesses to get rid of this stuff. It's very
mm.
costly to have it sampled and tested every year. So yeah, PFAS is a bad word, and I think this next legislature you're going to see a little more work done to eliminate as much of that as we can.
You brought it up. I want to give you a chance to talk about it. We have, my former boss, Dale Schultz, Republican, worked bipartisanly with former state senator Tim Cullen, Democrat of Janesville. They tried to get new maps their last term, weren't able to get by Fitzgerald and Walker. But now, thanks to our new Supreme Court, we have these new maps that I will say are fairer, in my opinion. What kind of difference does that make in a race like yours?
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. I mean, with the old maps, basically the legislatures were picking their voters,
Mhm.
carving out all these different districts or, just red votes for them or whatever. That's all done. And, a lot of folks are confused when it comes to maps. They're confused. They were confused before. And so now when I knock doors, I get to tell them, hey, we're done with that. That's over
Mhm.
with. All the districts are the same size. and there's a 50-50 chance. So back in 2018, I always tout that, the assembly, we had 53% of the popular vote was for Democrats in the assembly in 2018. We yielded 36 seats of the 99 seats that year. That kind of gives people an idea of how gerrymandered we were.
Yeah.
So you run the numbers, the math, your vote really only counted for about 2/3 of the vote if
Right.
you're a Democrat. So that's done for. People are glad to hear that. And that's going to give us a fair shot here. We're getting back to fair again. Wisconsin fair. I love it.
We're talking with Duane Shukoski. He is a Democrat running for the 53rd Assembly District in parts of the Fox Valley. About 3 minutes left here, Duane. I want to give you a chance as you go and knock doors, go around your district. What's on people's minds in the greater Fox Valley, and what would you do if you got a chance to be in the Assembly?
Well, first and foremost, it's, where's the bipartisanship? When are we going to get back to that? And I totally agree. It's been so lopsided down in Madison. If you read Dan Schaefer's article on the Assembly Speaker, that kind of gives you a flavor for what this state has been under for 14 years. Hopefully, this cycle we get away from that, and we get back to Wisconsin fair again. But so beyond that, it's obvious things like childcare, prescription drugs. I'm hearing that. I even have my own story to tell, like I just did about that. So it's affecting us all. In women's reproductive health care, a lot of ladies answer the doors up here, a lot of women, and that's very much first and foremost on their mind as well. So that's one thing that I would never get in the way of. I've heard some stories about women having to go through and end their baby's term. It's very painful. It's very personal. No way in hell should the government be sticking their nose in and telling women what to do. I've got two beautiful little granddaughters. I would hate to have anybody from the state tell them how to manage their lives.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, absolutely. How's it feeling out there? I mean, it's the first time you ran for public office before?
This is it, first time. I got lucky though. I've got a campaign manager that really kicks butt. She's Lee Snodgrass's chief of staff. She took a leave to come help me, and I think we're doing real well. Her name is Fawn. So
That's awesome.
things are going well. Yeah, name recognition for me. So I just love when I get to come on shows like this. My opponent is a former mayor. So he's got name recognition. Everybody knows who he is. But we're doing our best to make sure that my name and my message gets out there. And you're doing me a great service, Todd. I really appreciate this.
Well, I appreciate the time because look, we're just here to provide information to folks, and I think the more that people just get kind of that unfiltered, direct from candidates, I hope that's helpful. And I just love your positive approach. I love the fact that you grew up in your district, you know it, and your representative. I think from my time in the Fox Valley, representative of what folks there want to see. So, best of luck in all your travels as you go around. Again, Duane Shukoski of the 53rd Assembly District. Make sure early voting starts tomorrow, Duane. We want everybody to get out and vote, but especially those that are going to vote for you.
Exactly. Appreciate that. Yes.
Thank you for the time, Duane. Really appreciate it. Safe travels on the campaign trail.
Thank you.